Hello and welcome to Not Without My Sister. I'm Rosemary McCabe and I'm joined by my sister Beatrice McCabe. And a little reminder, because we haven't really mentioned this in a while, but if you sign up to our Patreon for $5 a month, you get one extra episode each and every Friday. And you'll also get this episode one day early, most of the time, and ad-free all of the time. So that's patreon.com/notwithoutmysister. And I'm totally biased, but it's well worth it. $5 a month to support out your favourite podcast, your favourite podcasters, us.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I thought you were saying thanks to me. I was like, you're welcome.
No, thanks. Thanks for supporting us. And hello, Rosemary.
Hello, Beatrice. Today, I thought we would talk about plastic surgery, and I can't remember exactly how this came into my mind. Maybe it was the Nicole Kidman cover of Vanity Fair. What do you think about Nicole Kidman on Vanity Fair wearing Miu Miu? Miu Miu.
I thought she looked great. I don't like to comment on women's bodies or faces. I thought she looked great. I thought she looked really, really natural. I really understood what was happening with the weird cavorting around in the weird Miu Miu outfit, but I thought she looked really fab. And I thought to myself, fair play to her expressing herself here on this cover of Vanity Fair. I also wondered what Benedict Cumberbatch was doing with the gaggle of swans and why his cover was so grey and everybody else's was so like op-arty, multicoloured.
I didn't see Benedict Cumberbatch's cover, but I read a piece by Amy Odell, who used to write for The Cut. New York magazine's The Cut, isn't it? And she now has a Substack called Back Row, and she wrote a piece about Nicole Kidman's Vanity Fair cover and was basically talking about how Katie Grant styled it and the Miu Miu catwalk was like really well received this season, blah, blah, blah. But I made a comment there, which is what I'm going to tell you now, with my thoughts about Nicole Kidman. I just wish, so the cover, if you haven't seen it, right, she's wearing a teeny tiny little crop top and a teeny tiny pair of shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks very long and very lean and has very defined abs and is also very kind of weirdly smooth. So it's very stylized photograph. It's very photoshopped. But I just like Nicole Kidman is what, 51, 54, 50 something, has been in the industry for so many years, has done so much work, some good, some not so good, some terrible, but some good. Like she's a well-respected actor, you could say, right? In general. Why can't they just make her look cool? Do you know what I mean? Why can't they just put her in a cool outfit?
Well, I mean, I have to assume that she thinks this is cool because she's, to your point, she is powerful enough and well-known enough and revered enough to definitely have some say
approval
in what she's wearing. So the fact that she chose this weird schoolboy/milkmaid costume to wear is, I mean, and I think there's also a part that, Miu Miu and Prada are considered to be the intellectual wardrobe. So I often think that people don't necessarily don't really kind of pick clothes that they themselves like, but they think that their clothes reflect something on them. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was thinking this makes her look more a highbrow fashionista because of the brand selection. I more wonder why as a, and I get it, right? Like you can show your body if you want to show your body, but why as a very well-respected, tenured, intelligent, by all accounts, actor, are you still required at 50 something to be out there wearing basically a bikini? Yeah. I mean, and it was very come hithery. There was an Instagram reel video or whatever that was like her beckoning through a keyhole and all this kind of weird. I mean, it's fine, right? I'm sure they'll be like, the whole concept behind it was, I obviously didn't get it, right? It was like come to Wonderland. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, thought it was like Stepford Wives.
No, I mean, but the fact that it was into this garden of paradise, was she Eve? I don't know. I'm just going, the whole thing was weird. The keyhole, her sort of coquettishly smirking from behind the keyhole. She's got a weird wig on. That's the other thing. She
always has a weird wig on.
But why can't they afford a decent wig?
I've often thought that about Britney Spears.
But I've often thought that about Nicole Kidman. In every movie, her wig is blatantly wiggy. Why can't she get a wig that looks like an actual bit of hair? Or is it more that she's like, every single one of these characters that I'm playing obviously is the kind of character who would have hair that is wiggish? Because I mean, it must be deliberate because nobody could be looking at these first rushes and thinking to themselves, that's great, the hair looks great.
Yeah, because if you think about The Good Wife, Juliana Margulies, is that her name? She wore a wig in every single episode of The Good Wife because she has curly hair and they want her to have straight hair, and she basically said, fine, but I'm wearing a wig because I don't want to sit in hair for 3 hours every morning to have my hair straightened or whatever, which makes sense. But her hair, I mean, it looks very bouffon-y.
Yeah, but I never actually thought she had a wig.
Yeah, Neither did I. You know who else's hair is very wiggy actually in And Just Like That? Miranda. Oh, very wiggy in the new series. Anyway, sorry.
Is it a wig?
I think it is a wig, yeah.
And the other one who always wears wigs and like acknowledges it is Christina Hendricks, right? She always has wigs.
Because she's very thin hair.
Yeah, some good, some not so good. But I mean, I think in general they're not distracting. You know, on occasion you kind of go like, that looks a bit poofy.
There are some red carpets or photo shoots where I've seen and I've gone, oh, her hair looks a bit weird. But like in Good Girls, her hair looks good. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't look like fake hair.
In everything. I mean, what was that one, 9 Perfect Strangers, whatever it was with?
I haven't seen that.
And the other one that we watched with Hugh Grant.
The Undoing.
Yeah,
it looks terrible in that.
Desperate. Like it's just so distracting. It's like I'm looking at you and all I can see is your wig.
Yeah, but also I'm like, what happened to this character? Like what's in this character story that she would be wearing wigs?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I don't think anything.
And her husband's missing, but she gets up every morning, puts on her wig.
I mean, you would, right? But like, wouldn't you? But I mean, also your husband's missing and you get up every morning and you put on your good wig that looks good. Not my bad wig that looks blatantly bad every single time.
Yeah, and she does seem rich enough to only have good wigs actually in that show. Like
totally. I was looking at a site. I don't know why it popped up on, I mean, bizarrely enough on Instagram yesterday. I was looking at a reel that had amazing wigs. It was just this one fitting on wigs in like a British company. It was amazing looking. And I was honestly, I clicked all the way through because I was like, I might buy myself one of these wigs. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. It was late at night, right? And I was like, definitely could love one of these wigs. It was very balayage, very gorgeous looking. And it was a lace wig, right?
Lace front, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, but it was something, I mean, when I clicked through and then looked at pricing, it was like $7,000 or something. I was like,
I know, good wig's very expensive.
I was like, I don't know that but I mean, I'm pretty sure that Nicole Kidman can afford a good wig. I mean, not that I have any access or insight into her finances, but you know what? Not even her. Vanity Fair should stand Nicole a good wig for the cover of that magazine.
Yes, yeah. Katie Grant could just buy it for herself. If like it wasn't in Vanity Fair's budget. Could be in Katie Grant's.
We don't need to decide. We don't need to decide where the money's coming from. Somebody in that project has enough money to buy, like it could be one of the props. It could just go in the props budget. But anyway, I was like, that to me was the most distracting because like it's so bizarrely wiggy. And so as she's moving, she can't really move her head because the wig might fall off, I think. That's my take on it. That's how I felt watching it.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm sure it's sewn in, no?
Yeah, but the point is that's how bad it is, that it truly looks static. So I could barely look at the Miu Miu outfit because I was so taken aback by the wiggishness. I actually love a good wig, personally.
Have you ever worn a wig?
I have indeed. I wore a wig a few times in Milan, just like fancied wearing a wig. Loved it.
Didn't.
Yes, I
did.
did. Yeah.
What?
And in Paris, yeah. And I had that extension ponytail that I loved too.
That's not a wig. Did you have an actual wig?
I had an actual wig. Like I wore it out a few times. I loved it.
What kind of wig was it?
I can't even remember. Like straight. I think it had like a sideways fringe. I loved it. Yeah.
I really want to see a photograph of this. I just wasn't aware that you ever wore a wig. I have thought about getting a wig also. I think as a curly-haired, lazy person, I'm like, it'd be nice to have a wig to be able to just have different hair. You know what I mean? Straight hair. But then I was like, I'd be too embarrassed to show up and people would be like, are you wearing a wig? People who know me, you know what I mean?
Well, let me see. I think I went out to all these like, you know, fashion nightclubs that like it didn't really matter.
Acceptable.
Yeah, it was more like I'm expressing my inner self.
Yeah. I have a new look. This is my look tonight. Yeah. This is my vibe. Anyway, sorry, back to the point, which was actually plastic surgery. And obviously, I have no idea whether Nicole Kidman, she probably hasn't had any plastic surgery.
She claims she's had none. She claims she once had some Botox and she regretted it. I believe she also claimed at that time when her lips went very duck pouty that she had some lip filler and regretted it and would never do it again. I believe I read an article that made that claim. And again, who am I to cast aspersions?
Who are you indeed? Although, to the naked eye, that's very surprising to me because I feel like it looks as if she perhaps has had some plastic surgery. Although, who knows? You know who else looks like they've had plastic surgery? Maybe, perhaps, allegedly, Jennifer Lopez, but it's just water.
Jennifer Lopez.
And her skincare line. She's never even had Botox, Beatrice. Water and her skincare line. She doesn't smoke or drink.
But you know, I also think like there is like my idea of plastic surgery and your idea of plastic surgery is not necessarily Jennifer Lopez's idea of plastic surgery because, or even dare I say, one of my own family members' ideas of plastic surgery is not my idea of plastic surgery. I have a family member, potentially, friend, almost family member, who had hooded eyelids and decided to have an eye lift. Now, I was considering this to be plastic surgery. They considered it to be a medical procedure necessary to prevent them from becoming blind with their hoodie eyelids. Now, I have to say that I personally thought that the fact that their eyelids were so pert and lifted was I think it was a plastically surgical medical procedure, if you know what I mean. It was plastic surgery whether or
It
not it
was-
was a medically necessary
Yes.
plastic surgery, it was still plastic surgery, in my mind. This individual took great umbrage to this and said, no, it was a medical procedure. So
it was cosmetic surgery, but not for aesthetic reasons. They were claiming, you know,
Correct.
that's
Yes.
the distinction.
But I mean, the thing is, it's still
there is no distinction.
that, well, in their mind and on their eyes, there is. So when I look at what's her face who's married to Ryan Gosling? Eva Mendez's thing, and I sent you the picture of her having her neck threaded. Now, massive needles going underneath her neck, right, with threads pulling her neck tighter so that she would have a nice tight neck, which is my obsession, right? Because I'm always, that's the one thing that I would get done is like have my neck lifted, right? And this is all like, so they put the massive needles into your neck and then
I've seen it
and then thread it. But this to Hollywood celeb is just maintenance. This is regular upkeep. This is not plastic surgery. Now, to me, that would be
I mean,
plastic
we
surgery.
perhaps should have looked this up before because I'm wondering now what is the distinction because I know that say Botox isn't considered cosmetic surgery. Or
But I mean, I
like
think anything.
injectables
But I
aren't
think
considered.
anything that requires a needle and like pulling of your skin.
I thought plastic like cosmetic surgery had to involve a scalpel and the needle and the injectables are like other things.
Well, I should look it up right now.
Okay, great.
Anyway, the point being that like these are pretty invasive, you know, techniques that are happening. So I mean, you could be doing a lot of things like threading and this and that and the other. I'll tell you somebody else who hasn't had any plastic surgery. Madonna.
Madonna's Instagram. Madonna looks like
Amazing.
Tales from the Crypt.
That's mean. Actually, kind of on the one hand, I'm like, she actually looks kind of amazing. If I didn't know what she looked like before,
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
I wouldn't be. It's more the like
She
poker
looks-
straight hair. I'm like, God, it must be just so much work.
She
to
looks like
stay
the
looking
24-year-old wife of a Russian oligarch. That's, you know what I mean?
You
Like, she's
are
beginning to look very, very
extremely
Eastern
judgmental.
European. No, I mean,
I was thinking she actually looked a bit like it. There is a singular look, though. There is a singular aesthetic that seems to happen over time as skin is pulled back and eyes are like pulled,
yeah,
etc.
yeah,
There is
yeah.
that whole cat lady. What is it? Joyce Wildenstein.
oh yeah.
You know, the wife of the billionaire who wanted to look like her felines.
Is that what she wanted to look
yeah,
like
yeah.
a cat?
She
Oh,
wanted
I
to
thought it
look
was
like
an
a cat.
accident.
No. And she started out very, you know, normal
Subtle.
looking.
Yeah.
No, she started out like
Oh.
a very normal looking, I would say, you know, just not even, she wasn't even like, you know, a supermodel. And she started
Yeah.
as a very normal looking wife of an individual. I think that was her claim to fame, that she was married to this guy. And she was obsessed with her kitty cats. So she had all this plastic surgery. But there is something about that look with like the, you know, the slightly more tilted eyes and like the almond eyes, I should say.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and obviously the very pulled, the narrower, more defined chin. Because I suppose like
Yeah.
as you pull the skin back, you know, the normal droop, etc., is just not there. So
But you can also get, a lot of people also get filler to define their jaw more. I actually went into River Medical to ask if I could get filler to define my jaw. And the woman who did the filler was basically like, look, why don't we try? I think she was kind of like, your face and your jaw are like big enough. She was like if we, like not badly, but she was like, if we put filler in your jaw, you'll just have a bigger jaw. And she was like, why don't we just do some cool sculpt to see if we can thin out kind of under your chin, which is what I was giving out about. I was like, I feel like my whole neck and chin area is too pudgy. And I wanted to kind of fix it. So I had the cool sculpt instead.
did you do
Just
the cool
like
sculpt?
Linda Evangelista.
Yeah, I was about to say you did.
Yeah,
you
I
could
did.
be
On
right.
my chin, yeah.
You could have been left with a big
Under here.
lumpy chin.
Yeah, I could have been, but I wasn't.
You're lucky.
It's grand. It felt so weird. But it did work. I mean, like minimally. I actually have the before and after photo. I'll share them on our Instagram. Like there was a difference, but it's such a small area as well that it's like only you would notice, really. Only I would notice. You
But
know what I
that's
mean?
all that matters, because at the end of the day, nobody else is noticing any of this shit anyway, only you.
True. But I feel like for the effort, you'd want someone to be like, you look amazing.
But I mean, like when I go and get my Botox, which I actually am overdue for, but like when I go and get do you think anybody else is going like, oh, Beatrice's wrinkles are looking really bad? Or if they are, they're probably thinking it for 5 seconds. Wow, she had loads of wrinkles, you know?
I don't think I've ever looked at anyone and thought, wow, she's loads of wrinkles. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, even if you do, you think it for 2 seconds, then you go back to thinking about yourself and your
Yeah,
life
yeah,
and
true,
the things
yeah.
that you're doing. So, I mean, the fact that we do any of this stuff is for ourselves. I mean, or if you're Nicole Kidman in your Miu Miu bra and panties, you are doing
It's for
it
your job and for your
job.
Yeah.
I mean, you believe yourself to be doing it for your job. Like that's why you think you're doing it, whether it would make a difference or not. But like, it's
Yeah.
the chicken or the egg. Who'd know? It's like that whole statistic about girls who go to all girls schools have better results than girls who go to mixed schools. But how would you know? Because they're different girls. It's not like you can send the same girl up through both
twice.
schools.
Yeah, you can't do like a double blind. Would you ever get this threading done in your neck? You're talking about how you want to do something about your neck, but would you get threading done?
No, because when I looked it up, it actually came across as like very dangerous and unreliable. Like I'm very afraid, do you know what I mean? I want somebody to be like, this is 100% safe. It's not even this is 100% guarantee of results, but this is 100% not going to fuck you up in some other way. Like look at Linda
you're not going to be
Evangelista.
botched, basically.
Yeah, botched. Oh my God, botched.
Yeah.
I don't know how I suddenly started getting ads targeted for botched.
Well,
Must
we were
because of all
talking
these
about
conversations
2 days ago, weren't
yeah,
we?
but like way
Were you getting ads before that?
That's what made me say it. Yeah, because I was literally reading. I mean, the ones on botched. I mean, I've never actually watched it. I've never watched. No, I've never watched it. But I was botch. I've never watched it. I was reading about it. I think it was E Online. I was on. Oh my God, the things like I've been. I mean, also like wonder why how people have these things happening to them. Like, how do people get away with like doing this bad surgery?
Do you remember that MTV show? I don't know actually if you would have, if it was a bit more my time. Anyway, it was called I Want a Famous Face. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, it was an MTV show where people would come and get plastic surgery. And I just remember, the only one I remember is this guy who came and got implants on his calves because he said his calves were too weedy looking.
Well, that was one of the things on botched. It was like I got implants on my calves and now one of them
They're
is
all
sliding
lumpy.
down one of them sliding down into my ankle. So they removed them and I was like, God, her legs look great now. I mean, but also, I mean, I think that's part of it. I'm like, why would you bother? Your legs looked grand before, you know what I mean?
As somebody with massive calves, I'd caution against it. I tried on a pair of jeans the other day from H&M. They would not go up my calves. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if they would have tied in the waist. Suspect not, but I don't know if they would have. They would not go past my calves.
I put on this size 0 jeans and they would not go up my calves. Were they the right size for you now?
Yes, they were size 18.
Oh, Rosemary, that was a joke.
18. That was very mean.
No, it was supposed to be a joke.
They were.
Anyway, here's the definition of plastic surgery. Nan, the process of reconstructing or repairing parts of the body by the transfer of tissue, either in the treatment of injury or for cosmetic reasons.
Transfer of tissue?
Now, so therefore, only if you're transferring tissue. Is that correct?
Is that plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery?
Well, this now says that's his plastic surgery. This other one now, that was from the Oxford Dictionary. This one says plastic surgery, this is Wikipedia, so less reliable, is a surgical specialty involving the restoration, reconstruction, or alteration of the human body. It can be divided into two main categories: reconstructive surgery and cosmetic surgery. Reconstructive surgery includes craniofacial surgery, hand surgery, microsurgery, and the treatment of burns. This says what's the difference between cosmetic and plastic. Cosmetic surgery is a unique discipline of medicine focused on enhancing appearance through surgical and medical techniques. Plastic surgery is defined as a surgical specialty dedicated to reconstruction of facial and body defects. Oh. Huh.
So plastic surgery is what you'd have if you're in a car crash, say, where you really damage your arm or something. And then cosmetic surgery is just if you're like, my arm's too fat, I want lipo and I want you to like put a little implant in so I look like I've got a muscle or something.
I want lipo and an implant.
Yeah, I want lipo to get rid of the fat and a little implant to make me look like I've got a bicep.
I feel like I missed out my opportunity really to really take advantage of whatever this surgery is that we're talking about now, because cosmetic surgery, because like I always was like, well, I should really do, like, if you're in there already, I mean, take advantage of it and, you know, do a bit of lipo. I mean, I'd be terrified to get lipo. It looks gross. But it just looks so brutal, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like, I just mean I'd be terrified. Like, it just looks, Anyway, I was more like, I had 4 babies. Those were my opportunities to have this tummy tuck and this whatever tuck.
I actually thought about that recently. I was like, why didn't I? Because I don't have any money. So I couldn't have afforded it. I don't think my insurance would have covered my like elective post C-section tummy tuck. I also didn't know I was having a C-section. If I have another baby, I probably would consider getting a tummy tuck because I now have this belly overhang that I absolutely hate. And not only do I hate it because of what it looks like, and I could probably try and work on like getting over that and be like, it's not important. Like, you know, it's the least important thing about you, how you look, is it? But it's really uncomfortable. So like, yeah, like if I put on tight jeans, because think about it, it's basically a bit of flesh folded over the rest of my flesh. So it pushes in and then it rubs, you know what I mean? So like underneath it gets like, well, like the actual flesh feels tender, probably because only 4 months ago I had this surgery, right? So it might still be a little bit tender under there. But also it rubs and it gets like sweaty and hot underneath it, and it gets kind of like a heat rash sometimes. So it's really uncomfortable. So maybe that would qualify as actually like medically necessary surgery.
It might. Yeah, it might. You'd probably want to go and get it documented once or twice to make sure that they understand, hey, this is sore. Go in with your rash.
Oh, God.
Jesus, that never even occurred to me.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. And because basically, like if I try on anything tight, it's like I have to fold it over on itself to get it in. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'll tell you, I wish there was something like that would work for chub rub. Like that is actually very uncomfortable and inconvenient.
Well, from all the plus size influencers that I follow, the one thing that is meant to work is the Mega Babe. I'll buy it first. There's this like Mega Babe It's like a roll-on, but it's not deodorant. You know what I mean? But you roll on your thighs, and they all say it works wonders for chub rub. Because chub rub, nightmare.
I mean, not that I need to worry about it now because it's icy cold outside, and I'm also like, can you get chub rub from sitting still for 24 hours a day?
Wearing 2 pairs of leggings and a pair of tights underneath them? No, probably not. I remember when I went to the south of France for 2 weeks on my own solo holiday. It was great, except for like I didn't do anything. I just lay on the beach and then I watched Netflix at night. It was great. God, I'd love to do that now. Anyway, I got really bad chub rub just from walking around, and it was literally like red raw. I remember trying to find like shorts that were long enough to cover my chub rub, but not like Bermuda shorts. You know what I mean? 'Cause there's a lot of fashion considerations going on at the same time. But like, would you have any of that kind of surgery done, do you think? Like, other than Botox?
I mean, I
You're
think
too afraid.
I am. Are you going to let me answer?
Yes.
I am afraid. I think eventually I might have. I mean, the other day I spent about 25 minutes just opening my eyes more widely to see like how much brighter the room became. Because I was in the sitting room, right? I was in the sitting room and the kids were in the room. And I think one of them said something that like alarmed or, shocked me. They told me a shocking story and I widened my eyes in surprise. And suddenly I was like, oh, it's actually quite bright in here, right? It's the middle of the day. And then I was like widening and like relaxing my eyes. And I was like, I think my eyes are like drooping. Like I feel like half the time my eyes are kind of frowning or closing. And I definitely noticed the first time I got Botox that it raised my eyebrows a tiny bit.
I remember you saying that.
And that I felt like my eyes were more open. But like then I went and spent some time looking in the mirror at my hooded eyelids. Okay.
I too have hooded eyelids.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe I should get this maybe I should get this cosmetic procedure this medical procedure, whatever, right? Maybe I should get this medically necessary surgery. Yeah. Because maybe I too am being blinded by the
lack of light.
Yeah, by the
like that street song, but the opposite.
Yeah, by the lack of light from my chubby hoods. So that's one. Right, then the other one.
But I don't think you'd actually get that done. I've seen them doing that. It looks brutal as well.
Well, this individual told me it was fine. So I think about that. Then the other thing I would think about doing is my neck at some point, right? But then I'm also like, is it grand? Is this just Zoom neck that I'm now like hating, Because that's another thing.
Has ruined us all.
The pandemic has increased people having surgery. I mean, there's a lot of people blaming, virtual meetings, but I also think it's because working from home, people could actually be at home and have recovery time that they otherwise couldn't have had. And they could.
Yeah, I get you.
Because I did absolutely consider doing things, for like, we were also locked down and bored right at the very beginning, but I absolutely was like, if I'm going to get this done, I should get this done now because it's the only time I have a guaranteed 4 weeks at home where nobody can see me, and where
turn your camera off.
Yeah. Or else
put
just
a nice filter.
No. Yeah. Put it like soften it up, like put on a polo neck and nobody will be thinking what's she actually wearing because you're at home. So I actually don't think it was as much about like, I'm unhappy with myself now that I look at myself all day long. I think it was truly like, I've never had this opportunity before and I can do this. So,
but probably people were saving money. Everybody was saving money in the pandemic.
True, yeah.
Weren't spending, weren't going places. So probably people had the money to do it. If they'd always thought I'd like to do that, but I've spent all my money or whatever.
I don't know what I spent. I don't think I saved any money in the pandemic. But anyway, I think I bought a lot of books and stuff for like entertaining myself. I signed up to a lot of things out of boredom, like Ipsy.
Are you still signed up to Ipsy?
I signed up again there last week because I was like, I'm running out of face cream.
Oh my God, I've loads of face creams I can give you. Go on.
I do get Botox and I like my Botox. I was thinking about getting Botox on my chin because I think I'm transferring because I did a lot of like holding my tension between my eyebrows.
Yeah. And now that you can't hold it there anymore, you think you're holding it in your chin?
Yeah. Like I do a lot of like.
Interesting.
I do a lot of clenching my chin and my bottom lip. But actually I got my Botox in the first place. This is not quite a true story. I got my Botox. I was about to get dental Botox.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because
for
of the
your
pain.
masseters, isn't that what's
Well,
called?
it was actually for a pain that I had in the back of my neck.
TMJ.
No, it was actually for a pain that I had in the back of my neck and back of my head. And they said, this could help because it could be due to the fact that you're clenching it. I don't actually think it was. And I was considering getting that dental Botox. And then I was like, well, you know what? I'll go off and get this head Botox, this forehead Botox anyway, because, and it actually resolved all of those terrible headaches that I was having. And I said that before, I think, on this, but like I was having, though I couldn't sleep, I had
tension headaches.
No, they don't know what they were because I did an MRI, I did all types of things and they didn't know what they were.
Oh, but I'm saying more like, sorry, I'm not saying like medically, I'm saying from holding tension in your face, basically.
No, They don't know what it was because it was all the way from my shoulder. I had to go for physical therapy and all this kind of stuff.
Oh.
And it was shooting all the way up my shoulder and up the back of my head. And it was like this, some trapped nerve somewhere that they couldn't figure out what it was. And I had to do an MRI and I had to do all types of different x-rays, etc. You remember? And I had to go for like 6 weeks of physical therapy before I qualified for the MRI and all this kind of stuff. It was a pain in the arse. And eventually I got this forehead Botox and it all went away.
Cured everything.
Yeah. Now my back of my neck is still a little bit sore and I can feel that like there's a lot of tension or trapped something there. But anyway, from time to time, but it solved everything. But I was anticipating now from nowhere, entirely medically uninformed. I thought going in to get Botox was going to be, here is one long needle on this side of your head and one long needle on the other, and I'll be done.
Yeah.
And instead,
you don't watch enough reality TV.
No, and instead it was, here are 4 million needles popping all around your head, and it was just like, here's a small cold like iced tissue. Not even I'm numbing this. Yeah. It was for me agony in that moment.
I wonder if it'd be less sore for me because I have a chubbier face. Like genuinely, I think I have more. Well, maybe not my forehead. But
no, I mean,
on my face.
And let me say, like agony, just the doing of it. Once it was done, it was grand.
No, I know.
You know?
Yeah. Like a pinch.
Yeah.
But like lots of pinches. These are uncomfortable.
And then there was like, go home and make sure that you're raising and moving all your muscles for the next 4 hours. Like, don't leave them too still because then the Botox will like could settle in one place. So,
oh my God, that's terrifying.
Don't lie down for the next 4 hours because the Botox could like pool in the wrong place. So I was terrified, and I was honestly the first time like I was doing the most. My forehead was wrecked with like the expressing that I was doing. And then the next couple of times I forgot about it. Yeah, the next couple of times I didn't do anything and it was grand.
The thing is, I mean, like I would definitely have Botox, and I have thought about having it done on, I have like one particular line on my nose that I get, like just goes straight across. I'm like, I'd quite like to get Botox to get rid of that. But I'm like, nobody would notice that except me. Do you know what I mean? But it's like something I notice.
Preventative though, Rosemary, you know, you don't notice it now, but in the future it'll be carved deep in your face like some kind of a marble sculpture.
And I say I would get a tummy tuck, but the only reason I would consider getting a tummy tuck would be if I had another baby and was already getting cut open, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't go in and be like, I'm going to choose to have my stomach cut open. It's more like while you're in there.
Well, now if we're talking about like, if it wasn't anything I'd have to worry about, right? I'd also like to get my knees slimmed down. Oh. I've always had very chubby knees, which the doctor was agreeing with me. Oh yes, this is correct, and I'm surprised you've noticed this about yourself. So that wasn't very reassuring.
And what about your dad's ankles?
I was going to say, and my cankles, I would also get like some chub sucked out of them. I would also like to have an entire body transformation like the swan, if we're at it. And I'd like to remove the cowlick from the front of my hair, which is ruining my new fringe. So those are the things that I would like.
So you want a famous face, basically.
Oh, I'd also like to have, yesterday I was like, I was hiding the top of my forehead to see if in fact, like you said, my huge forehead is a detriment to my pure beauty. And I was like, so I'd like my hairline to start at least an inch lower down.
Oh, well, you know, you can do that. You can get hair implants. Like,
yeah, I know that sounds
so
me. Again, I'd like this to be zero pain.
Oh,
zero
downtime.
So also, like, I barely trust somebody to like go and microblade my eyebrows. Would I actually trust somebody to like,
I don't think
permanently
so, to give you a
implant?
new hairline.
Yeah. What if they did a shit
I don't
job?
think so.
What if like, they were like, when people cut my hair, I'm generally like one side is longer than the other. What if they gave me a lopsided hairline? I'm probably going to go upstairs now and be like, oh, my hairline's already lopsided.
I think I'd actually be grand because I'm always very like, I'm just always, that's grand about my hair and everything.
Except in restaurants. Why is it that you're so comfortable complaining in restaurants and not in hair salons?
Complain in restaurants?
You're telling me you're always sending back your food and saying this wasn't nice and that wasn't nice. How are you so happy to complain in restaurants?
No. I'm never sending back my food. I'm always joking. I'm always doing that dad joke that when they arrive and my plate's been licked clean, I go, oh, that was obviously terrible.
I'm talking about your delivery food. This didn't arrive. That didn't.
Of course. My delivery food, I'm paying for a service. I'm paying for them to deliver it within a reasonable amount of time. And Beatrice, the last couple of times I've got they give me the wrong order. And there was another time that I got my Indian order and they give me no naans.
What about you complained about the tomato ketchup not being nice?
There was one time.
Okay, but
let's
like
not dwell.
But hold on, this is just food that you ingest and then it's gone. Like this is a moment in time. You have to live with your hair.
My favorite thing.
But you have to live with your hair and your looks like, you know, for the next 6 months till you go back to the hairdresser whenever it is.
But you get used to that. Food gives me such joy. My looks don't. We got a message from Sarah, right? On Instagram said, this is kind of relevant. This is super weird, but I had a dream that both of you showed up at the church where I work and I was so excited to meet you both. Your podcast brings me such joy and is always a welcome break from the stress of life at work, right? And I said, oh, that's gas. How is our hair in your dream, more importantly? She says it was great, and not that this matters, but you were both gorgeous and skinny.
Oh my God, I had my swan transformation before I turned up at the church.
And sorry, speaking of listeners, another one of our listeners, Kate Rainsford, or Kat Rainsford, or Kat Rainford, I couldn't really read the signature, sent me 2 gorgeous onesies for Atlas and sent us each cherry chocolate orange. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago? And I couldn't find her online to say thank you, so I just want to say thank you now on the podcast. It was so nice of her. And Atlas loves his onesies, and we loved our cherry chocolate. I loved my cherry chocolate orange in a very short length of time on my own.
That was so nice.
I know, it was so nice of her.
So nice. Thanks.
It was like incredibly nice. And she also must have reached out to me to get my address, but I can't find her details anywhere.
So nice.
And also, how willing am I to give out my address? Somebody goes, I want to send you something. I'm like, here you go.
Honestly, I mean, that says it all. I'm sure I scoffed that cherry chocolate orange in about 20 seconds as well. It just goes to show, like, the swan's got a bit of...
It also just goes to show we're not even remotely paranoid. She could have injected that cherry chocolate orange with anything. Horse botulism.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Rosemary. Would you be giving people ideas?
Oh, sorry. Well, I won't be giving out my address anymore.
As if, send me anything, she says.
So basically, in real life, all we've really committed to saying is that we'd have Botox.
Well, hold on. Didn't you have a ton of things done for free in Ireland when like people gave you all the freebies? You've had your microblading.
I've had cool.
You've had microblading now. That's obviously
I've
not.
had my eyebrows microbladed.
Yeah.
You've
had your jaw chiseled.
I haven't. I wish. No, I don't want my. No, I want my jaw more defined. I want all the chub taken away.
Oh,
but the bone could be more defined.
I thought you wanted like a squared off jaw, like a manly jaw.
Yeah, I do, but I want it injected in. I want it added on top, not taken away. I don't want to have my bone chiseled. That'd be awful.
You're like your one Orlan who had like the horns put in, the French one, the like body artist, body modification artist.
No, I wouldn't do that.
That Lady Gaga then knocked off.
I did see somebody the other day who got a gold tooth. I was like, I'd like a gold tooth. Thought that was quite cool.
Mother of God, that's your gold braces coming back to you. Now you had extensions.
Had hair. This is not.
Did you not have like
surgery? I had hair extensions.
Oh, I'd like to put up a picture of that. Those hair
eyelash
extensions. Oh yeah, I'd like to get. Oh well, I'd like to get them after that time that I nearly blinded myself with the eyelash. Yeah, that was a disaster.
No, we have to go. I do have the name of the person that we have to go to in Fort Wayne, so we have to go and get our eyelash extensions. I've had my eyebrows microbladed. I've had laser tattoo removal. I've had laser hair removal.
As have I. It was not successful.
I would also have electrolysis on my chin hairs. I would happily do that.
You only have about 3 chin hairs.
I know,
but like
wait till you're older.
Wait till you're older. I read a thing in the New York Times recently about how when you're older, like if you're prone to having chin hair, you could actually have a full beard. So wait till that grows in.
Sorry. And look, how is that the one article you didn't send me?
I didn't want to depress you. I also have a picture of you on my computer from the screenshot I took last week that I've been worried to send you in case it depressed you too much, but I really want to.
Oh my God. Stop taking screenshots of me when I'm not expecting it. You have to show that to me after this now. You're such a bitch. Yeah, so I have had all those things done. Would I get a boob lift? No, I don't need one. My boobs are still very... one of my boobs is still very pursed.
I'd like to get a boob reduction. That's what I'd like. A boob reduction and a boob lift. I'd like to have like Erin Wasson boobs. But the problem is it's a bit like the way my head's already too small for my body. I'd be like, in Men in Black, I'd be like tiny boobs and a tiny head and then like a very large pear-shaped body. And that's not going to be an attractive look. And
we'll leave you with that image, listeners. Thank you so much for listening to That Without My Sister. We really appreciate every single one of you, but especially... Kate Rainford / Kat Rainford / Kate Rainsford. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Not Without My Sister is produced by Liam Garrity. Sound and original music by Don Kirkland. And our original illustration is by Lindsay Nielsen.
Not Without My Sister is a member of The Warren.
As is our podcast, The Critter Shed.
For more great podcasts, hop along to thewarren.ie.